Welcome back. When you're shopping around for healthcare, it can be hard to figure out what's the right plan for you. But our sponsors at Univera Healthcare want to make it as easy as possible. I'm joined now by the Vice President of Medicare and Individual Market Sales at Univera Healthcare, Andrew Naparella. Thank you so much for coming in, Andrew.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Of course. I want you to start off by talking about when it comes to choosing health insurance, what are some important things to look for?
Sure, there are a number of things that everyone would want to consider when they're evaluating their options. Some best practices for everyone to keep in mind. So the first thing is, what's the total cost? So not just the premium, but also any cost shares, deductibles, those sorts of things. So people have a really good idea of what that total cost is going to be over the course of the year. They also want to make sure that their preferred providers and facilities where they like to get their care are participating with the health insurer. They also want to make sure that their prescription drugs, that's becoming more and more important for people today, that those are going to be covered by the plan. If people travel, they're going to want to look into that as well. They want to make sure that the plan is to be able to travel with them. In Western New York, we have a lot of snowbirds, people who travel outside the area, to make sure that they're going to be able to get care when and where they want it if they are traveling. And lastly, people probably want to look into if there are any financial assistance programs that they might qualify for to make sure that they're taking advantage of those as well.
Okay. Great tips right there. So what are some common things that people don't always think about when it comes to selecting their health plan?
There are a lot of things, actually, and specific to Medicare. There has really been a proliferation of supplemental benefits over the past several years. So people want to look into things like vision and hearing coverage, anything wellness benefits, telehealth, maybe supplemental benefits like OTC, the over-the-counter benefits, things like that that have become more and more popular. They might vary by plan. The other thing, specific to Univera that people I think really enjoy in working with us is just knowing that we have local customer service, that we have a great network of local providers and facilities that work with us and have for a long time. So they know that they're going to have that security of having a partner in the community and someone who understands them and can advocate for them.
That's right. It really is important for community members to see themselves and know that the people that they're calling for help, look like them.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, what does it mean for you when you say Univera Healthcare is right here for you?
Yeah, right here for you. It was actually really, really interesting to be part of the process. Where we came up with that really as kind of our mantra and really who we want to be in the market. That process was a lot of fun because it was feedback not only from our internal colleagues but also from the people that we work with in the community. We surveyed some of our members and surveyed some of the groups that we work with, and that's really what emerged was that they feel like we're right here for them. That we're part of the community. We live here. We work here. We have that local flexibility, the local relationships, and that's why people choose to work with us. So it was really a lot of fun to actually be part of that process, and it's something that we really try to do every day and kind of exemplify that as we engage all of our members and all the groups that we work with in the community.
Now, can you tell us a little bit more about your role at Univera and what your favorite part is?
Sure. There are many things that I could mention there, but just a few. Number one, I really do work with a great group of people. At Univera, everyone really embraces the culture that we're here for you, but internally also, it's a very supportive and collaborative culture. And it's also fun to be part of a company that's growing. We've really added a lot of membership and a lot of new groups that we've been working with locally over the past few years. So that's just a lot of fun to be part of a growth mindset. And lastly, the work that we do, just knowing how important it is and how impactful it is for the people that we work with and working with individual consumers. For anyone who's had to enroll in a Medicare plan or individual coverage, it can be confusing. It can be frustrating. It's a very big decision. It's a big decision for people, and it's also something that is very important to them. So when those two things come together, it means that we really need to show up for people. We really need to be there for them to help them through that process. So it's really gratifying for us to be able to help people through that and make sure that they have confidence and clarity in what they're doing with their health insurance because it's so important to them.
Yeah, and it's daunting, right? That there's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot of information to take in. So I love when Univera, you guys come in because you kind of break things down and make it seem a little bit more, palatable for people to be able to start that journey.
That's what we try to do. It really is an individual journey, as you mentioned. For anyone who's enrolled in Medicare or had to help someone do that, there's your Part A and your Part B, and then all the different companies that you might be considering, and the different types of plans, and all the different benefits, the cost shares, everything I mentioned before. So it is a lot to keep track of. It's very different from your commercial coverage if you're moving from commercial into Medicare, like when you retire. So it's a big step for people, and being able to help them with that is something that we really take a lot of pride in.
All right, Andrew, thank you so much for coming in. We know open enrollment will be happening before we know it, so it's good to know.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you.
Well, viewers, you can learn more about the ways our sponsors at Univera Healthcare can help you by visiting their website or calling one of the Medicare numbers right there on your screen. Thanks again for coming in, Andrew.
Thanks for having me.